back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Devin. I hope that you will consider sticking around and subscribing. And if you're not new, as always, welcome back. You know I love you. So for today's video, we are going to be doing a part 2 with the Weekend Vibes collection. But if you watched my last video, I talked a lot about the collection in my last video. We talked about the other 3 palettes in this collection, as well as the brush sets and the lip gloss. We're not doing all that in today's video. We are just going to be focusing on this Avocado Toast palette and doing a tutorial on the look that you see on my eyes right now. So real quick, if you haven't seen this palette on the inside, this is what she looks like. Very fun if you like greens and earthy tones. So with that being said, if you would like to see how I got this look using this palette, let's get into the video. All right, hi guys, let's get into the tutorial. So as always, I'm first gonna prime with my e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer. This is in the shade Rose. If you're new here, this is all I've been using lately. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the shade Pink Salt, and I'm going to hope that this works to set down my primer. Whenever I'm trying out a new palette, I do like to look for a shade that is like a light neutral, maybe like a bone color shade to set my eyeshadow primer down. So I really like to have that in a palette, but if there's not, it's really not that big of a deal because I can use a translucent powder or use a different palette or whatever, so it's not a game changer for me if that shade is not in there because, you know, it's just not all about me. But that is a plus for me. So I don't know, I probably would prefer to use a little bit more of a neutral shade than this. This is a pretty pink shade. I think it's probably a little bit washed out on camera from these lights, but it's a very like sheer pink on the lid. So whatever. All right, so again, I think it's washed out on camera, but I'm not liking the way that that looks really in person because like I said, it is very pink. So I'm just dipping into a little bit of translucent powder and I'm gonna run that over my eyelids to neutralize it a little bit more. Whoa, that was a lot. Spread some over here. So this is just my Juvia's Place White Sands. It's a favorite of mine, but I am trying to use it up so I can use up some of my other powders. So I'm looking at this palette and I'm tempted, like I feel like I'm kind of feeling more of a neutral look with a pop of green today, but then I'm also saying to myself, like, this is literally just gonna turn into a green smoky eye, I know it. So let's start with it and let's see what happens. So I'm gonna go into this shade right here called Lemon Pepper, and that's gonna go in the crease. It's kind of a yellowy shade. Oh, and this brush that I'm using is the Morphe M441. I don't know if I said that. Okay, so I'm feeling like I either want like brown on top and green on the bottom, or green on top and brown on the bottom. Does that make sense? So, oof, goodness, I'm having a really hard time deciding what I want to do here. Okay, I think I know. I am literally just like praying that this goes the way that I am seeing it in my head, but I think I know what I want to do. So I am going to take a clean Morphe M433 and I'm going to go into this guy right here. It's called Ripe. I was just kind of pondering if I wanted to go for the warmer tones in this palette or some of the cooler tones, and I'm thinking because I'm wearing like a cooler tone green shirt, I'm going to go for the cooler toned greens. So this is going to be built up in the crease right over top of that yellow with the intention of the green that I'm going to put on the upper lid just kind of fading up and out. All right, next I'm going to start building up the outer corner. So I'm going to go into this shade right here. It's called Guac, and I'm going to use a Morphe E17, and I'm going to start building that kind of on a diagonal from this outer part of my pupil here to the outer corner. And then as I'm packing that color on, I'm also kind of slightly blending out and then also up into the crease. Just right here on this outer corner. This is definitely an Eagles green. So if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan like me, you will appreciate this color. Although honestly, personally, I prefer the throwback Kelly green over this, like, I think they call it a midnight green, this more bluish teal. I prefer the old Kelly green, but that's just me. Either way, this is a very Eagles color. Okay, so I'm gonna go back in with that first green that we used. It's called Ripe. Back on that Morphe M433, and I'm just gonna blend a little bit more because I feel like I lost a little bit of that color here in the outer corner. This kind of happens when I don't really know what I'm doing and I'm just playing around, and then the look becomes very dramatic very quickly. All right, for all over the lid, I'm gonna start with this shade right here. It's called Green Juice, and I'm just gonna get that on my finger, and I wanna see how that looks just with my finger first. Oh, that's nice. Not bad on its own. This is literally becoming like an Eagles game day look, oh my God. Okay, so that color looks fine on its own, but I do just want a little bit more from it. So I'm gonna take this on a flat brush. This one is from a BH Cosmetics set. And I'm gonna get that green juice on there. And then I am going to just spray with some setting spray. And then we're just gonna pack it on top and see how we do. Okay, so I feel like that doesn't look terribly different, wet versus dry, but it does build, and it did add just like a little bit more of a foiled look, so we'll go with it. You can wet it or not wet it if you're following along with this. It's up to you. You can really do whatever you want. All right, so I feel like I have to do this next step, even though I really am, like, all I can think of is a Philadelphia Eagles jersey. I can't help it. But we're already going for this color scheme, so I just gotta keep going. So I'm gonna take this shade right here. This is a Morphe E36, and I'm going into this matte black. It's called Holy Moly. So I'm just gonna work that along the lower lash line here, and I'm gonna deepen up the outer crease just a little bit more. So I'm going to flip back and forth here between this little brush that I have the black on and then this one which we had guac on, just to make sure that I'm not using too much black, and again just so that everything looks nice and blended. And it's fine if you make a mess right now because we're going to clean up with a makeup wipe before we move on. Okay, and then just for fun, I'm gonna take this shade Extra, which is just a little bit of a darker green shimmer, and I'm gonna put that, oh, it's actually pretty pigmented. I'm just gonna put that right here between, what's that other one? Green Juice and the black. Okay, and then I'm going to take that M433 one more time. I'm not putting any extra product on it, but I'm just going to take a second to blend to make sure that we have no harsh lines up here. You guys know the drill. I want everything to look nice and soft and smoky. All right, I think that's enough for me for the top lid right now, so I'm gonna pop off of camera, do the rest of my makeup, and then we'll be back to finish up the look. All right, so we are back with the rest of my makeup done, and I have to say I feel a lot better about this look now that I've got the rest of my makeup done. So I was originally thinking that I wanted to do something dramatic on the lower lash line, but honestly, I really like the way that this looks right now, and I love this really sharp line that I've got here, and I don't think I want to mess it up. So I'm thinking we might leave the lower lash line alone and maybe just do some eyeliner and mascara on the bottom and then do lashes on top. That's my vision right now. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and add a brow bone and an inner corner highlight because there's this beautiful shade in this palette. It's called Avocado, which is super cute. And I want to test this out as a highlight. So let me dig up a small brush here. And of course, literally all of my eye brushes are so dirty. Okay, so taking this teeny little brush here, we're gonna go into Avocado, and we're gonna use that on the inner corner and the brow bone. For lashes today, I'm gonna be using my House of Lashes Iconic. I'm a big fan of their Iconic lights, so I'm excited to see how these go. I already have them out and trimmed, and that's what I was trying not to do. But I already have them out and trimmed and prepped here, so that's why I showed you an empty box. But I'm gonna pop these on off of camera and I'll be right back. Alright, so here's the look with lashes. First impression, I like them, I don't love them. The band is pretty thick and not very flexible, so I would say I definitely prefer the Iconic lights over just the regular Iconics, which are what these are, but they're okay anyway. Alright, so let's finish up with lips and then we will be done. So for lips today, I'm definitely feeling a nude, a more neutral color to kind of balance out this dramatic look that we've got on the eyes. So for lip liner, I'm going to use the Dose of Colors Nitty Gritty lip liner. This is a really nice neutral color. It's a little bit on the warm side, but it's not too warm, so I think it'll still go nicely with this look. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop that on. And then for lipstick today, I'm gonna pull out an oldie but a goodie. This is the Too Faced, what were these called? It's just from their like nude lipstick line. There was definitely a name for this collection when it came out. I forget what it is, but this is one of their nude lipsticks. It is in the shade Pout About It. And I think this is gonna match with this lip liner pretty nicely. All right, you guys, so it is that time. We are here with the finished look. What do we think? Honestly, when I first started getting going with this look, I was not sure how it was gonna turn out or how I was gonna like it, but I am definitely happy with the final result. I think that the eyeshadows in this palette were easy to work with. I think that they were decently pigmented. I feel like you have enough pigment in here, obviously, to get a nice dramatic look and get some great color payoff without the pigments being too hard to work with. I felt like I didn't really have difficulty blending. The mattes were nice. The shimmers I feel like were vibrant. They weren't crumbly or lackluster or anything like that. So overall, I was really, really happy with this palette. And then of course you can create some more neutral looks and stuff like that with this palette. So I'll have to play around with that a little bit and see how I like the browns in this palette as well. But first impressions, I really think this entire collection, not just this palette, was a win for me, at least in terms of quality and performance of the different palettes. So I know I talked a lot about the other palettes in my last video, so I don't want to talk too much about this one today, but yeah, that's really all I have to say. I think it's a great palette, and I think if you like green, it is definitely worth it. So that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, I hope it was helpful. If you have made it to this point and you have not already subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so by hitting the subscribe button down below. And you can also hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any future uploads from me. You can also follow me on Instagram. I am at devdevgregs over there as well. And with that, I will catch you in my next one. Mwah. Love you. Bye.